Hey everybody, this is Seth from Coming Out Tarot. I wanted to get on and talk a little bit about my first long-term queer relationship. I talked a little bit previously about my first queer relationship, which was messed up. But now I really want to talk about the first one where the L word happened. So here's the scene. I was in Portland. I had moved to Portland, was living with my cousin, and I had decided I was going to go back to school. And I was also going out to the gay bars at the time because that was the safe space. That was our space. That was where you could just be you. I love to go to a place called Scandals. And the people that I met there were authentic. They were real. They were true. They were just who they were meant to be. And that's where I met Lilio. Lilio was 7 years older than me, I think. Just like Steve, actually. Maybe I have a theme going on. I met Lilio, actually saw him a little ways away, and he was with this group of people that I always thought were kind of interesting, smart, clever. So we had this instant, he was attractive, he was confident, he was smart, he had his own job. He wasn't, he was a catch, and he was funny. So I started pursuing Lilio. We started dating, and he was asking me to grow up in his expectations of what he was looking for in a partner fairly quickly. So I was in this strange dichotomy of who I was meant to be and trying to understand everything. So it was really not the best time for a relationship, but we hit it off and we got along. And eventually, we decided that it was time to move in together and buy a house. We would move into a house together. And I get this, we moved into a street called Gay, North Gay. Yes, Gay. We moved in together, and a couple things immediately came to light. We had different expectations of what it meant to consider what we considered responsibility. So we learned how to live together responsibly, paying bills, what it meant to have a mortgage, what it meant to have a house, how we had to invest in a house. I was a 20-something-year-old. I wasn't ready to be in a house, but I thought I was. I wanted to play house. He was ready to have a house. He was ready to start a relationship that would be long-term, and I thought I wanted that too. So we just had this beautiful little homey life. On the outside, it looked great. It looked like what everybody wanted. Two young gay men working, doing what they wanted to do in life, and had a great group of friends, and had an active social life. Went to church every Sunday, which meant going to the bar, going to Scandals, and hanging out with all the guys, and it was great. What people didn't see was the emotional abuse. They didn't see the mental abuse, poor choices of language, and at the time, I wasn't smart enough to recognize that's what was happening. He didn't have the tools to understand that's what he was doing. So we saw each other less because I was at school. He was constantly either at work or at the bar. His drinking continued to progress. And as the drinking progressed, so did the verbal abuse, so did the emotional abuse, until one day it escalated into physical abuse. He had said something. We were in the basement watching TV, and I was working on something in front of the couch. He had said something that I didn't appreciate. I sent a snarky, snide comment back, and he hit me hard enough that I fell over. This was the first moment that I was scared for my life. Well, I didn't think I was going to die. I didn't know what was next. And I didn't think that it was in another human being to physically harm another human being that you had said you loved. I started putting things together that were necessities, like what I needed. I had a bag ready to go in case I needed to get out of the house before I could. And I got things kind of ready to go. And then that day, I went off to work. I left work early. I had already told work I was going to leave early. Left work early, got home. My friend met me there. We packed up my stuff, the essential things and the things that I absolutely wanted to keep because we had the day until Lilio got home at night. And then went to his house. We left. And eventually, I did go see him. And what I'd done is I had sat down and made a list of all the reasons why I couldn't be in this relationship anymore. So that when I sat in front of him, I'd remember. Because it's easy to forgive. But when behavior isn't going to be changed, you can't go back. And I didn't want to fall into forgiving and going back when I knew the behavior wasn't going to change. So I told him all of the reasons why it was over. And when he asked if I'd come back more than once, I said no. I had already previously left the relationship once before, and I came back. And I wasn't doing that again. So I left. And within a couple more years, I had left Portland and come to Chicago. And within a few more years, maybe 7, a little more than a few, maybe 7 years or so, Lilio died. And it was a hard day. A lot of people don't tell you that you can love your abuser. And when there is such a communal love for the person that you know is different with you than who everyone else sees, it's really hard to not be victimized. And you just you have to remove yourself. So that was part of me coming to Chicago, was removing myself from such a wonderful group of people, some of whom I'm still in contact with and we're friendly on Facebook. I know we're connected. And so much has changed in that span of time. Several of us have lost partners. Several of us have lost friends. Strange deaths, unexplained deaths, suicides, relationships ending. But this relationship, my first long-term one, that was really, I loved this man. And it was the first time I really knew of what that was like. And then to know that we weren't meant to be together was a hard pill to swallow. To then watch him systematically destroy his life, for a long time felt like it was me. Like this messed me up. Thought it was me. For a long time I blamed myself for his death and for his alcoholism and for the abuse of his own body. for allowing the abuse to happen to me. Because maybe if I'd said something sooner, he would have gotten help and none of this would have ever happened. But that's that same victim mentality, right? That's the same, if I had, wouldn't he have gotten better? No. This was all him. It was all his choice. And it's just, none of it is fair. None of it's the way it was meant to be. Or maybe it's just none of it's the way I wanted it to turn out. In either case, what I wish I'd had at the time was my tarot reader. I didn't have her anymore. I didn't have a tarot reader that I trusted at the time, and I wish that I'd had my tarot reader. That would have given me the time and the space to work through what I was feeling, what I was experiencing, what kind of actions would have been the strong choice for me to make. I'm lucky I had some really good friends. But tarot could have taken that deeper. It could have helped me understand not only my place of strength, but my greatest weaknesses, so that I could have moved beyond them, or made choices about moving beyond them, figured out what the actions I could have taken were. And I wish that I could have better understood this relationship. I wish that there were more insights for me on this relationship. I wish that there were personal details in a tarot reading that could have said XYZ, now ABC as a result of XYZ. Or I wish it could have told me, get out now, because this ain't it, this ain't the one. And there would have been no more wasted time. Right now, no regrets. That was not wasted time. But in retrospect, if it wasn't the right place to be, tarot could have helped me know that sooner. And I could have moved into such a space of personal strength and momentum and activation if I'd been able to have that tarot reading. So I share this with you because I hope you can learn from my mistake. If something doesn't feel right, dig in, get a tarot reading, find out more. If something feels awesome, dig in, get a tarot reading, find out why, so that you can keep doing the thing, or so that you can stop doing the thing if it ain't the right thing to be doing. And my favorite thing that I would share with you is, while my tarot reader wasn't, and still the one I have now, the two that I have now are cis heterosexual people. There's a place for knowing that you're coming to a queer tarot reader. Why? Because we know and can live with and exist in the world that honors your pronouns. Even though we'd want the whole world to, we get it. We're here, and you don't have to explain what it means when you talk about your partner. We know we're talking about a business partner unless you tell me you are. You can talk to me about your husband if you're gay and not have to worry about me batting an eye and going, oh, you don't look gay, which is one of the most subtle homophobic things that drives me crazy. So I can be here for you to be comfortable in your space when you may not be comfortable somewhere else, and that's why you need help, and that's where I can come in and give you the space that is safe and available for you to, just like my friends did when I needed to step away from my reality and make a new one. All right, I hope this is helpful. Thanks everybody for being here and listening to my story.